Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for July of 2025. You have this visitor card. It says tourist or alien. You have this quail card. It says follow your heart on it. I think you need to follow your heart to something new. That card says tourist on it or visitor. And here you go. You have the tower. The tower wants you to enter into a new reality. Again, I always say that to me, the tower is not a bad card. I mean, the tower can be uncomfortable, sure, but the whole point of the tower is that these people are being brought down to reality. They've been ignoring reality for too long, and now they're seeing how things actually are in life. And so, again, to me, the tower is not a bad thing. On top of that, you go down to the star, which is good. The star comes up after the tower. The star literally represents healing from a tower moment. So now I definitely wouldn't even worry about the tower because you have the star right after it, right? So again, that pretty much cancels out the bad tower energy that could happen if there was anything bad. But with that alien card there, with the tower, you definitely could be entering into something new that you've never experienced before. And this could be like a new job, a new opportunity, a new place. If you're doing any of that, I think that any of those new adventures would be very good for you. You have the tower in your current general energies for the month of July. You have the tower, the Six of Cups, and the star. So again, the tower could be a past tower moment that you've been dealing with. With the Six of Cups can be a card of innocence and nostalgia. We do have Mercury going retrograde this month, and the Six of Cups can basically just represent thinking about the past, which isn't a bad thing during Mercury retrograde. I always say that, I don't think it's a bad thing to process things that you've been through from the past during Mercury retrograde. That's exactly why we have Mercury retrograde, right? So that we can get answers for the things that we've been through. And like I said, I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think it would be perfectly fine for you to do that, Sagittarius. Again, you could be just thinking about like why certain things happened in your past or why you had to go through certain things and, why you had to have certain experiences, and you could just be processing all that information. The other interesting thing is that we go down to the Nine of Cups to the Knight of Cups here, going from the tower. It's like, the tower, this right here, actually the whole first row, really, could be you getting very clear on what you definitely do not want in life. And it's interesting to go like this to the Nine of Cups and the Knight of Cups. This would be total fulfillment. Sometimes I think when we get clarity on exactly what we want, then we can avoid what we don't want, and then we get what we want, right? So I don't know, that Nine of Cups to the Knight of Cups to the Sun right next to it kind of looks like you are getting what you want in life, which is great. You have the Six of Cups. Again, I just feel like that processing energy. So, again, it makes perfect sense with the astrology with Mercury going retrograde that you would be, processing things from the past and thinking about things. And like I said, it's a good time to do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a good, I wouldn't, obviously the only problem would be if you were to like stay stuck in that energy, but I really don't think that you are. So, like I said, I wouldn't even worry about it, plain and simple. By the way, one other thing I would say, Six of Cups is a very playful energy. We see a lot of joy in this reading, or a lot of cards that would say that joy would be a good thing for you. Sun, the Nine of Cups as well, the Star, and this card, so it would be a good month for you to be more playful as always. You have the star, so like I said, wouldn't even worry about the tower. Star represents healing from a tower moment, so a lot of you maybe have gone through some sort of healing moment or healing from a tower moment, which would be good. The star can also represent focusing on something new. The star is about having a North Star, this star right here, this guiding light, and I think it would be an amazing time for you to focus on, your guiding light, right? Or coming up with some sort of guiding light in your life. And this could be like an idea, a goal, a wish, a dream, whatever. But I would focus on that. As always, Sag, you have the sun and the star. I'm pretty sure that like 9 times out of 10, when the star or the sun comes up in your reading, you get the star or the sun. You get both, right? So these two cards together can represent fame and fortune. Sagittarius is the sign of fame and fortune. So, part of me kind of feels like those two cards are just talking about your energy in the reading, and whenever your energy shows up, that kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. But another part of me is like, there could be a lot of positive attention as well. With the Tower, you have the King of Wands. This would be you taking control of your life, which is good. We could also say that this is you, although I read the King of Wands as Aries, but whatever. You can read it however you want, but it could be you, and I feel like you're just kind of taking control of your life. I also feel with the sun and the star showing up in this reading, this is very visionary energy. So is the Tower, actually. The Tower, we have this lightning bolt hitting the top of the tower, which could be a light bulb moment. And so I would be paying attention to any visionary, futuristic ideas that you have, Sag. Like if you are coming up with futuristic random ideas or whatever, those ideas could be coming from source. They could be coming from an alien as well. What's really weird is in one of the last Gemini readings I did, they had this card. I called Gemini an alien. And the reason I'm bringing this up is Gemini is your opposite sign. Not only that, we have Uranus going into Gemini this month in July. So, Uranus is very alien. So, Uranus would be aliens. And what I would say there is, again, you could be getting ideas from another world. So those innovative ideas could be very helpful. With the Six of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles. A little bit of love here. So if you want love, these two are divine counterparts, of course. They are. I like the King and Queen of Pentacles because they are two people who really want to put the work in. They are two signs that really want to make things happen. And, they really want something permanent as well. So this could definitely be a permanent connection that's coming in for you here, Sag. And it could be very good. Definitely could be a Earth sign, obviously. With the Star, you have the Queen of Cups. We all need to follow our heart right now. I feel our hearts are guiding us towards what we want, basically. And we really need to follow our heart at this time. I think everybody has to. And so whatever your heart is telling you to do, that is the direction I would move in. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, here you go. You have this full moon in Aries. It says a fiery climax approaches. You have this fixed moon. It says hold your vision. Yes, star. The star and the sun actually want us to pick a focus and make it happen, right? So if you have a dream, goal, whatever, I would pick that as your focus and make it happen. The full moon in Aries, we have all this energy in Aries. Neptune, we have Saturn, Chiron in Aries still, which I can't wait for Chiron to leave Aries. It is the worst. But, what I would say here is that I think a lot of us, we could be starting new things and we could be finishing things very quickly as well. We could be starting something new that we also finish very quickly, and that could be a good thing. So, now we can really start things and accomplish things more quickly, and I would do that. You have the King of Swords, the Nine of Cups, and the Emperor. The King of Swords, I feel, is about knowledge and wisdom. You have all these kings here. So you have 3 kings so far. We're just missing the King of Cups. But you do have the Emperor. So, normally all 4 kings is the Emperor energy. And when you have all 4 kings, it could say you're attracting an Emperor. But you do have the Emperor. So we don't really need the other king to say that you could be attracting, an Emperor-type person. Could be whatever gender. Doesn't even matter. The King of Swords, I feel, is also saying that you need to trust your knowledge and wisdom. We do have Mercury retrograde, like I said. Sometimes during Mercury retrograde, I feel like we do have to trust the past. It basically says that, you've learned all these things from your past, and now you need to trust what you learned. You have the Nine of Cups. I feel like fulfillment is the secret for Sagittarius. I think Sagittarius should only focus on self-fulfillment, doing things that bring you fulfillment, doing things that make you happy, and doing things that bring you joy. The more you do that, the better, for sure, with the Nine of Cups. You have the Emperor. Again, the Emperor is about taking control and bossing up. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be bossing up in your life or taking control of things that you're working on. I feel like I've said this to you before, Sagittarius, but it really wouldn't surprise me if you are rebirthing an old idea. The Emperor doesn't really represent rebirth, but he is holding on to this Ankh right here. And the Ankh is a symbol of rebirth. And so, I don't know, it's popping into my head that if you are thinking about doing something again, that it would be worth it. I'm not talking about love, the same person. This feels more like work or business to me, where it's you have an opportunity to do something again that you tried before. And again, if you're rebirthing an idea, or if you're thinking about rebirthing an idea, I feel it'll be very successful for you. Looks very good. On top of that, there definitely could be love coming in for you. You have the Knight of Cups here. The Knight of Cups is a knight in shining armor, so you definitely could be attracting like a emperor and empress type person, which looks amazing. With the King of Swords, you have 2 cards. You have the Hierophant and the Lovers. Definitely could be love that you are attracting. I would say it's an Emperor type person, because we almost have all the kings, but you do have the Emperor. The Hierophant could be marriage. I always say, we don't have to get married if you don't want to, but definitely could represent a very strong connection. I like these 2 cards for love, of course, because they both represent something that's divinely guided as well. You have your higher self angel here at the top of the Lovers, and then the Hierophant. Sorry, my camera's reversed, so I can't point to the right thing. But these 2 people, he is initiating those 2 people into a belief system. And so the Hierophant can represent 2 people who are kind of like on a similar path or a similar journey. And so you could be attracting someone who's like going through similar things to you, like in a good way, which would be good, of course. The other thing I was getting to, this does also, if you don't want love, this could also, and even if you do, this could be you getting something that's like a perfect match for you, because we do see a lot of opportunity in the reading itself, right? So, there definitely could be like a solid opportunity as well. Yes, with the Nine of Cups, you have the Devil. Every single person, almost, except for like 2 or 3 signs, has had the Devil. Mercury retrograde, again, I would be careful of any past devils. This Mercury retrograde is one of those retrogrades that seems a little bit extra bad for exes trying to come back for whatever reason. So, again, I am one of the only readers that says do not go back to the past, right? You can do whatever the hell you want, but I've had many comments over the years where I tell people don't go back to the past. They leave me a comment and they say, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to go back to this person. I'm always like, I don't care. Like, do whatever you want. And then, like, 6 months later, they're like, they cheated on me again. I'm sad. And I'm always like, I don't know. I told you not to do it, right? Plain and simple. You don't bring the trash out to the corner and then bring it back into your house, right? You don't do that, right? So there you go. But the Devil, says be extra careful of toxic energy right now. With the Emperor, you have the 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles is planting seeds in a direction. 6 of Pentacles is about paying attention to what works. And I think everybody needs to do this right now. The problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem. I actually think it's a good thing that we have Pluto and Aquarius. We have several other things going on in the astrology that would all represent looking at the evidence. According to Chris's crappy astrology here, there's a lot going on that I think is saying if we just pay attention to the evidence of what's working and we double down on that stuff, we will be very successful. And, that's basically what I would do. That is what I do. And I think my numbers speak for themselves, right? So, again, I'm no genius, and I've figured this out. So, like I said, I would just like pay attention to what's working, pay attention to the evidence, and go from there. If this is new love, by the way, 6 of Pentacles would be a very fair person. So you could be attracting a person who's like very balanced, right? Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have a skunk card. It says conflict avoidance, discretion, and lunar energy. You have this emu. It says curiosity, strategy, and endurance. We are in a time of curiosity. I think we all should be asking a lot of questions and following our curiosity, meaning if something is interesting to us, we should probably go learn more about it, or we should look into it. Who knows what we will discover? The skunk is also an animal of self-worth. And, I would say that is also going to be important with the Devil, because, the Devil can be anything that steals our energy. And if we're putting ourselves down, we are kind of stealing energy from ourselves. And it's popping into my head. Like, I think you need to value yourself a lot more this month to have a good month. You have the King of Pentacles, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. The King of Pentacles, of course, can be a card of wealth and abundance. Yet money has looked really good for you for a while now, Sagittarius. So whatever you're doing, I would keep doing it. You've been getting a lot of financially focused readings. So whatever you're working on, I would keep going. I do think you're very close to a breakthrough. I don't think you've had a breakthrough yet. Like if you've been let's say you've been working on a project, trying to make more money, obviously, then, it's like maybe you haven't quite had that breakthrough yet that you've been wanting. it's like you're close. I feel like I said this to you before, like in one of your last readings, that it feels to me like you are so close to making that amount of money you need to make to like quit your job, for example. Or you're very close to having enough money to, buy that car or do something. And I feel like you're very close. And I know that's very frustrating. I would keep going because, again, I think you're building long-term wealth here. It seems to me like everybody is. We had Uranus and Taurus, and again, Uranus will be entering into Gemini this month. Uranus and Taurus wants true freedom. And, Uranus and Taurus is all about like building and leaving a legacy. So, a lot of you, I think, are very close. You have the Five of Pentacles. Yes, Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses. We have to focus on our strengths with the Five of Pentacles to get the benefits of the Five of Pentacles. So I would make sure that you are focusing on, the good stuff and all the reasons you should do something. The Five of Pentacles also wants you to come out of the cold. The Five of Pentacles can say you've been keeping yourself out in the cold, but these people, they have this church behind them, and the church represents a place of sanctuary, so they could easily come out of the cold is the whole point of the Five of Pentacles, and I would do whatever you can to come out of the cold here. You have the Knight of Cups. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Knight of Cups is definitely a knight in shining armor. In your next row, we'll talk about this, but you have this new love card as well. So, based off this reading, it's clear to me that there could be a very solid connection coming in for you. With the alien card, it definitely could be an alien. It could be a person from another frickin' planet. It could be a very unusual person, and I mean that in a good way, not in a bad way, right? Usually when we meet people like that, the weird ones usually are the best ones, actually, I think. So, definitely could be a weirdo, but like in the best way possible. So definitely could be like a different type of person, whatever. Knight of Cups could be like a very intuitive, dreamy person as well. Doesn't have to be a water sign. You have a lot of stuff here. Capricorn, Aries stands out to me. Scorpio, Gemini stands out to me. You also have water, Aquarius, Leo, Pisces, Taurus. I mean, I just listed all 12 signs, right? So could literally be any sign. I think what's important is that, this could be a person that sweeps you off your feet. I also feel like, the other weird thing that just popped into my head when I put that card down is like I feel this person, it's like the work is obvious, meaning like the work that they're putting into the relationship is very clear. It's like you don't have to guess if this person is actually doing something or not. I don't know if that makes sense, but definitely popping into my head. With the King of Pentacles, you have two cards again. You have the Six of Swords and the Fool. So definitely time to take a leap of faith in a new direction. The Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores. Sometimes I do think we do have to take a leap of faith to do the Six of Swords, because that woman and the child in the boat on the Six of Swords, they are wearing nothing but the clothing on their back. They are leaving, everything in their past. They are completely starting over, like basically completely starting from scratch in life. So a lot of you, I'm not saying you're like completely starting over, but you could be moving on from something, and it might mean the end of something else. So it might be a leap of faith. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Cups. Amazing. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family, good things coming in after a difficult period of time. The other thing is that this could be two people, you and a person here, that have both been left out in the cold. So sometimes I feel that with the Five of Pentacles, that it represents two people who have been through something very similar in relationships, but this could actually be good because, this could be why you wouldn't do it to each other, like whatever happened, right? And so it's like this could be two people who, it's almost like you are each other's gift if you are attracting love here. It's like you've both been through it in love, and now you're both attracting good people, the two of you. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, this person might work too much is definitely popping into my head here. I don't feel bad about this, but I don't know, might be attracting a little bit of a workaholic here. Although I don't know. It's almost like popping into my head that you make this person's life easier. I think you make each other's life easier, which I think those are also like the best relationships, where it's like you both can, it's not like no one is responsible for our burdens. That's not what I'm saying. But, if you happen to get into something with a person and you both happen to make each other's life easier, I think that is good, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this exploration card. It says, right now you need to search and explore. It's okay to wander until you find your home. Very Sagittarius card right there. You have this Libra card. It could be a Libra coming in for you. It says new love. It says a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. Yes. Like I said, I think this is something that will be very meaningful. Just a very good connection. Feels very good. So, I would go for it if you're looking for love. You have the Six of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Sun. Six of Wands can, of course, represent success or an achievement coming in for you. So if you're hoping for a success or an achievement, this would be very good. For some reason, I have good news popping into my head as well. Again, Six of Wands does not represent good news, but I read intuitively and I'm getting that. So there you go. The Six of Wands can also be you kind of like standing out. So it is an amazing time for fire signs to stand out. You have the Sun and the Star showing up in this reading. I would do whatever you can to stand out here, Sag. You have the High Priestess. We are also in a very intuitive time. Again, you might be downloading some weird messages. You have that Visitor Alien card. So, sometimes I think with the High Priestess, it's like some of our ideas might not immediately make sense. If you have Gemini in your chart, I would definitely go watch the Gemini reading because for July, because I'm pretty sure I said something to Gemini about how they could be downloading ideas that, like, in the moment, those ideas might not make sense, but I told Gemini to write down their ideas and revisit them later because it's like maybe later the idea will make sense. It's also popping into my head for you here, Sag. So that's why I'm mentioning it, is because, again, this could be an important message for you as well. And you are the opposite of Gemini. But also with Uranus entering into Gemini, your opposite sign, again, when something goes into our opposite sign, it definitely affects us more than other people. And, even though it's not your sign, right? So this could be like an idea thing. It could be intuitive messages. Uranus is kind of intuition in some ways, right? So these could be intuitive downloads. They could just be downloads in general. I would be listening. You have the Sun, which is the best card in the deck. So the Sun can bring in a lot of happiness and joy and just good feelings into your life. Just a lot of good stuff with the Sun. So I feel pretty good about the Sun. The Sun can also say the sun is shining on you. So if there was ever a time for you to stand out and try to get attention, it would be right now, Sag. With the Six of Wands, you have the Eight of Swords. I feel pretty good about this. Again, Eight of Swords and the good stuff would say you are setting yourself free. You are kind of like opening up to the world, or you are getting out into the world. So I would just, keep doing what you're doing here. I really don't have much to add to this because I feel like you're just like standing out. With the High Priestess, you have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles can represent normally holding on too tightly to something of the past. But in the good stuff, the Four of Pentacles can say that you're creating more stability. Stability is a big focus. Now, again, we had Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is moving into Gemini. When a major planet, or like when a big planet like Uranus leaves a sign, it's like that's when the rubber meets the road. That's when we really implement the lessons we learned over the past several years with Uranus and Taurus. So, again, it's like even though it's leaving Taurus, it's like now is when you are putting those things into practice. So Uranus and Taurus loves freedom. Uranus and Taurus loves stability. And, like I said, a lot of you could be focused on creating both of those things. With the Sun, you have the Page of Cups. Yes, definitely love, for sure. Again, I think this is very obvious. Sorry, wrong camera. But I think this will be very obvious to you here, Sag. I think this will be someone who stands out to you, obviously. Again, the Sun is like something that makes you very happy. The Sun is something that you definitely would want. There's no question about it. So that looks good. Next, you have this Elephant card. It says, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. There you go. Some of you could be traveling. Even the Tower can be like a move or a travel. So if you're going on a journey, you could be learning a lot. I would also encourage you to go on a journey. Again, you have that Visitor Alien card. It says tourist or alien. Any opportunities that you have to like travel or move in new directions or whatever, I think I would do. I think it's a good time to travel now. I will tell you, I refused to get on a plane this year. I literally said this at the day that we had that first helicopter crash into a plane. Literally, you can go back and watch live. I was live with Devin Dewar, whenever that date was. I literally said, I'm not getting on planes this year. Literally that night that happened. And it's been a pretty freaking crazy year for planes since I said that. So, again, I refuse to get on a plane. Where I was going with that rant is that now, like, the rest of my year is fully booked with travel. I'm driving everywhere, but I am going to be traveling a lot. I haven't traveled in like a year, which normally is weird for me because normally I'm always on the road. So, yeah, but like now, all of a sudden, like in the last month, I've booked a bunch of trips. So I think it's a good time for travel. I think variety is the key here. We need to go experience new things. You have this mountain card. It says major challenges to overcome. I feel like you are overcoming challenges. Tower with a star. So any challenges that you have experienced, I think you're getting over it. You have this hammock card. It says taking a vacation physically or mentally. If you are going on any vacations or if you are having any vacations, like I just said, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's good for you. I think it would be good for you as well. So you're Sagittarius. Sagittarius loves travel in long distances. You have this wreath card. It says sorrow over a loss. I feel like this is a person. Like, I feel like a person might have regrets of loss. And part of me feels like that's the problem with this Mercury retrograde we're having, is that people could really be feeling their regrets. But I would just say, too bad, so sad, right? You have this table. It says hard work ahead. Yes, I think you are working hard, but I don't even think it's a problem. I think it's a good thing. If you're putting work into something that's working, that's great. But this looks pretty good, Sag. I do like this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.